What do you get when you mix a brilliant scholar, a reform-minded lawyer, a stressed-out diplomat, and the wild roller coaster of the Tudor court? A man named Sir Thomas Smith. I'm historian and author Claire Ridgway, and today I'm talking about a man who wasn't a noble or a court favourite, but who quietly helped shape Tudor policy, served multiple monarchs, and somehow survived the religious swings of the 16th century. On this day in Tudor history, the 12th of August 1577, Sir Thomas Smith, humanist, legal mind, diplomat and statesman, died at Hill Hall in Essex. He was laid to rest at St Michael's Church in Thaden Mount. Now, Sir Thomas Smith may not be a household name, but his work lives on in some of the most important political writings of the Tudor period. He is the author of the Discourse of the Common Weal, an impressive piece of economic thought for its time, and also De Republica Anglorum, which explored how England was governed. But let's go back to the beginning. Sir Thomas Smith was born on the 23rd of December 1513 in Saffron Walden in Essex to John Smith, a sheep farmer, and Anne Charnock. Not exactly an aristocratic start, but that didn't stop him. He studied at Queen's College, Cambridge, graduating in 1530 and completing a master's in 1532. His talents caught the eye of none other than Dr. William Butts, Henry VIII's physician, who helped secure Thomas a place as King's Scholar and public orator in 1533. In 1540, he became Regius Professor of Civil Law and travelled to Europe to deepen his studies, returning in 1542. He was a humanist, firmly of the Reformed faith, and counted Sir John Cheke as a close friend. The two were passionate about correcting the pronunciation of Greek along Erasmian lines, a scholarly reform that landed them in hot water with the conservative Stephen Gardiner. Gardiner banned the practice, but instead of going to war over vowels, Smith backed down and ended up being appointed Vice-Chancellor at Cambridge in 1543. A clever move. His students at Cambridge included a young William Cecil, who would of course go on to serve as Elizabeth I's chief advisor, and John Aylmer, who would serve as Bishop of London in Elizabeth's new Church of England. Smith's rise continued. In 1547, after Edward VI became king, Smith joined the household of Edward Seymour, Lord Protector. Within a month, he was made clerk of the Privy Council. That year alone, he also became a Member of Parliament for Marlborough, Provost of Eton College and Dean of Carlisle. And in 1548, he was made Secretary of State. He was knighted in April 1549, but that same year, the political ground shifted. The Lord Protector fell from power, and Smith lost his office and his freedom. He spent 4 months in the Tower of London. But Smith wasn't in trouble for long. In 1551, he was sent on an embassy to France to discuss a marriage between Edward VI and Princess Elizabeth of France. But under John Dudley, Duke of Northumberland, the new leader of Edward's government, Smith kept a lower profile. He refused to act against Bishop Stephen Gardiner, showing that while he was a reformer and Gardiner was a Catholic, he wasn't without principles. But surprisingly, he survived Mary I's reign, possibly due to his earlier civility towards Gardiner, who became Mary's Lord Chancellor. His ability to navigate shifting religious politics was remarkable. When Elizabeth I came to the throne, Smith re-entered political life. He was elected MP for Liverpool, supported the idea of an English marriage for the Queen, and despite opposition from his former pupil, William Cecil, was appointed ambassador to France in 1562. He remained in that role until 1566 and returned to negotiate for the return of Calais in 1567, though that mission failed. In the early 1570s, Smith was involved in high-stakes diplomacy again, helping negotiate the 1572 Treaty of Blois and acting as Elizabeth's representative in marriage talks with the Duke of Anjou. That same year, he was made Chancellor of the Order of the Garter and Secretary of State. In 1573, he became Keeper of the Privy Seal. But Smith's interest went beyond England and France. He strongly supported colonising parts of Ireland, particularly in present-day County Down, as a way to ease England's population pressure. Unfortunately, the plan was a disaster. His illegitimate son, Thomas, sent to establish the colony, was killed in a local dispute. A second expedition in 1574 also failed. The native Irish and Old English families just weren't interested in Tudor colonisation. By the mid-1570s, Smith's health was failing. He suffered from recurring fevers, headaches, and what biographer Ian W. Archer believes was throat cancer. He died on this day, the 12th of August, 1577. Smith had married twice, first to Elizabeth Carkeek, who died in 1553, and then to Philippa Wilford, the widow of Sir John Hampden. She brought the manor of Thaydon Mount to the marriage, where Smith would eventually die. The couple had no children together. As well as his diplomatic and political career, Smith is also remembered for his writings. He wrote works on reforming Greek pronunciation and also on improving English writing. And then his 1549 Discourse of the Commonweal is considered the finest economic analysis of the century. And his De Republica Anglorum, written in the 1560s, offered a deep dive into the English legal and political system. It's a foundational text in understanding Tudor government. Sir Thomas Smith may never have dominated the Tudor court, but his intellect, adaptability and quiet determination earned him the trust of monarchs from Edward VI to Elizabeth I. He taught the greatest minds of the Elizabethan age, served as a diplomat during some of England's most delicate negotiations, and left behind a body of work that still informs historians today. And somehow, miraculously, he survived the chaos of the Tudor Reformation, changing allegiances and diplomatic disasters, with his head and his reputation intact. And that, in my mind, is a huge achievement. Not bad for the son of a sheep farmer from Essex. If you enjoyed this look at a lesser-known Tudor figure, please do give this video a like, subscribe for more deep dives into Tudor history, and let me know in the comments which of Smith's books would you have most liked to read. Do you want even more Tudor content? Of course you do, including exclusive videos and a beautifully curated digital magazine. Well, just click the join button here or on my channel homepage and become part of my special Tudor inner circle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more tales from the Tudor court.